Hello children, in this video we are going to see about types of force. In the last video we have seen about effects of force, isn't it? So today let us see briefly about different types of force. There are generally two types of force. They are contact force, non-contacting force. Okay, so what are the two different types of force? Contact force, non-contacting force. So what is meant by contact force? For contact force, interaction between two objects is very important. Okay, so we know when force is applied, there will be an interaction between two objects which causes force. As so we have studied in the first video, isn't it? So for contact force, interaction between objects is necessary. So what is meant by contact force? Force that comes into action after the interaction between objects is called contact force. So the force which comes into action after the interaction between any objects is called contact force. So if there is an interaction between object, the force can be caused, then it is a contact force. Due to the interaction between two objects, there will be a force, then it is called as contact force. So contact force works on the point of contact. Okay, so when the two objects come to contact, the time contact force will come to action. Now example, pushing a car. So a person is pushing a car. So when there is an interaction between car and a person, the force will be come into action, or hitting the ball, kicking a ball. These are examples for contact force. Now there are two types of contact force. They are muscular force and friction force. So what are the types of contact force? Muscular force and friction force. Let us see briefly about types of contact force. First one is muscular force. So force due to the action of muscles is called muscular force. So if the force is caused due to the interaction of muscles, then it is called as muscular force. Muscular force is applied only after interaction with the object. So muscular force will be applied after the interaction with the object. Example, when we push the object like school bag or lift the bucket of water, we use the muscular force, isn't it? So to push the object like school bag or lift the bucket of water, we are using our muscular force to move the object. So here you can see the persons, they are playing tug of war. So the group of people applying the muscular force to bring the rope towards their team. Yes, so that muscular force is applied when there is an interaction between the rope and the person. So to bring the rope to their side, they are applying their muscular force. Then Animals also use muscular force to carry out their task. So here you can see the bullock carts. So they will use their muscular force to carry out certain task. Next type of contact force is friction force. So where does the force of friction will arise? It will be caused between the surface of two objects. So the friction force will be occur between the surface of two objects. The force of friction always acts on all moving objects and its direction will be always opposite to the direction of motion. So it will be the frictional force will be applied in all moving object and its direction will be opposite to the direction of motion. So frictional force means the force which will stop the movement of an object because its direction will be always opposite to the direction of motion, so that it can able to stop the motion of an object. Now force of friction comes into action only there is an interaction between two objects. So after the interaction between two objects, there will be a force of friction. Thus it is a type of contact force. Now we can see examples for friction force friction force. Due to force of friction between the surface of the ball and the ground that brings the moving ball to rest. So I have told that frictional force is the force which will stop the movement of an object. Yes. So when there is an interaction between the surface of the ball and the ground, the force of friction will be come into action, which brings the moving ball to rest. Understood, children? Then when we stop pedaling a bicycle, it gradually slow down and finally comes to stop due to force of friction. So we know if we are pedaling bicycle, the bicycle pedal will be rotating and slowly it will comes down. Finally it will stop because of the force of friction. Once the surface of the pedal comes to contact with the ground, due to the force of friction, the moving pedal will be stopped. Now next we can see about non-contacting force. So we know now contact force means when there is an interaction between two objects, some force will come into action, such as muscular force and friction force, isn't it? Here non-contacting force. So this force will happen without interaction between two objects. For example, a magnet can pull an iron nail from a distance. So due to the attraction between magnet and iron, the magnet can pull an iron nail from a distance. Without interacting with the iron nail, it can pull an iron nail if the magnet is far from the iron nail also. Okay. So this is the force which is an example for the non-contact force. This force is due to without interaction between two objects. Now examples are magnetic force, electrostatic force and gravitational force are examples of non-contact force. Okay. Magnetic force, electrostatic force and gravitational force. Let us see what is meant by magnetic force, electrostatic force and gravitational force. Now first one is magnetic force. A magnet can exert a force on another magnet without being contact with it. So you know magnet will be having the repulsion properties. So the magnet can exert a force without coming contact with the another magnet. So the magnetic force is a non-contacting force. The force exerted by a magnet is an example of a non-contact force. Now, opposite pole of two magnets can attract each other, but same pole it will repel each other. So always the opposite pole will be attract each other. If it is present in a distance also, the opposite pole of two magnet can attract each other. So the force exerted by a magnet is an example of a non-contact force. Now, what is meant by electrostatic force? When a charged body exerts a force on another charged or uncharged body, it is called as electrostatic force. So, charged body, it will attract an uncharged body. Okay. So, the force exerted when a charged body attract another charged body or another uncharged body, it is called electrostatic force. So a positively charged body attracts a negative. So I told in magnet, in case of magnet also, opposite poles will attract each other. So here also positively charged body attracts a negatively charged body and repels a positively charged body without coming in contact. Thus the electrostatic force is a non-contact force. So electrostatic force means the force which is exerted between the charged body and non-charged body or charged body with charged body. Okay. So positively charged body will attract the negatively charged body and a positively charged body will attract, it will repel the positively charged body, another positively charged body without coming in contact. So they are an example for non-contact force. Now gravitational force. So gravitational force is the force which is exerted by Earth, Moon, Sun and other planets to others. So it is the force which is exerted by Earth, Moon, Sun and other planets to others. So we know that Earth and other planets attract all objects towards them. So the force exerted by the Earth, Moon, Sun, other planets towards other object is called as gravitational force. So Earth attracts all objects without coming in contact. Thus gravitational force is a non-contact force. So example for this is when we release any object from a height, it falls over the ground because of the gravitational attraction of the earth. So the force exerted by the earth which will make the object to attract towards it. Okay, so it is an example for a non-contact force. Without coming contact with an object, it can make the object to come into state of rest. That is called gravitational force. So thus gravitational force is a non-contact force. So I hope you all understand about types of force, contact force and non-contact force. You have any doubt, you can ask children. Thank you.